Does he have it? He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly, Miller's still start trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's gonna do it. Big Barry!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Simability Racing League round number 12 of the SK Super Series. We are live here on JP Broadcasting. Good evening. My name is Rob Sluiter. I'm going to be taking you through all of the action here at Oxford Plains tonight, and what action we're going to have this evening. 100 laps on this very short, very round, very flat oval. These drivers are going to be doing everything in their power to keep this car straight and to possibly make themselves fast. On top of the board right now is Don Koneman in that number 97. He's your current points leader, and he is followed very closely by Andrew Smith, who happens to be there in second, and Chris Roberge in third. Pull up your current point standings. There is Don Koneman in that 97. Swagger in machine up top, 4 points ahead of Tom Johnson, now taking a very slight advantage. Just took the points lead a race to go, and now he is looking to try to gain on that points lead one more time here in Oxford Plains. Chris Roberge moves Travis Zudema down last week, and now currently is a few points ahead of him, not too far. He's only about 13 points in front, so Zudema can battle back for that third position. And Harrison Chandler, after a brilliant performance last week, finishing in second place, is going to come up to fifth position with 84 points. He's still 20 points down from Travis Zudema, but anything is possible with 9 rounds left to go. Yes, 9 more rounds of racing left to go here in the Simability Super Series. And next week, we go to Richmond International Speedway, and that is going to be our All-Star Challenge number 3 out of 4 races. We got 1 more at the Bull Ring towards the end of the season, but next is number 3. Travis Zudema currently leading those points, 2 points over Tom Johnson. And then Billy Wise and Chris Roberge tied for third. It's going to be a very, very crucial week next week, and we are looking to see some fantastic racing from one of my most favorite tracks on the NASCAR circuit, and it is just going to be an awesome show. So make sure you stick around next week. You know how you do that? You make sure you hit that subscribe button, you like this video, and you hit that bell for notifications. That way, when we go live next week, you will have all the action right at your fingertips. Tom Johnson, he's in that 23 machine. He is once again somewhat slower on this timing tower. He is Mr. Consistency, and he gets it up there in the race, but don't let that 6th place on the tower fool you. Johnny Berardi in that number 99 machine's got himself in 5th on the time chart, so looking really good for speed for Berardi here at Oxford Plains. Stephen Kiefer is currently being shown 4th quick in that number 22 machine. And Chris Roberge doing everything he can to try to catch Koneman, still in 3rd place on the timing chart. Only a few minutes left to go in practice. They get an hour of practice, and then they get 2 lone qualifying laps, in which they have to set the fast time. Don Koneman on a record number of pole positions. We'll see if he ends up starting up at the front one more time, or if Andrew Smith or Chris Roberge can knock him down. But still, Andrew Smith, a 10th back from Koneman on his fast time. So Koneman really putting some fast laps out there this evening. And I believe everybody is mostly letting their cars cool down before qualifying. Roberge and Mr. Consistency, Tom Johnson, are out on the racetrack with just a minute and some change left in free practice. Let's take a ride with Tom Johnson and see what it's like to go around Oxford Plains. Not a whole lot to this racetrack other than throttle control. These cars, you get on them a little bit, but you see there, if you drive a little too hard in, you go kind of wide. So you really got to watch your on and off throttle points here at the track. And them white curbs down there, don't let them fool you. They don't look too big, but they are horrible if you catch it. It looks like Tom is taking the ramp off challenge while we got him in the in-car cam. What a launch there from Tom Johnson. That is, I believe, everybody off track at the moment, getting ready for qualifying. Only a few more seconds left to go, and then we can take a ride with Don Koneman, your current fastest in practice, almost a 10th faster than everybody else. And there's a checkered flag on the session. Koneman, Smith, Roberge, Kiefer, and Berardi, your top 5 in the hour of practice. But now we've got qualifying. The big time, 5 minutes to do 2 laps. You can do it at the beginning, you can do it at the middle, you can do it at the end. You don't even have to qualify if you don't want to. We know Travis Zudema and Andrew Smith tend to start at the back. Looks like we got Tom Johnson getting on track for his qualifying lap. Let's take a ride with him, see what he can do. Green flag in the air. But he goes to the top of the 14.72, but Don Koneman is getting on track. Let's see what that swagger in car can do. Waits a minute to get on it, coming out of turn 2. Waits a second and 3. 14.76. Can he top the 7.2 of Johnson? And he does with a 14.67. Don Koneman, your provisional pole leader. Chris Roberge now coming out onto the racetrack. Let's see what Roberge can do. He goes third fastest on his first lap with a 14.82. Can he pick up the second one? We'll take a look. Johnny Berardi also on his second lap. He goes up to 6th quick. Can he pick it up on the second one? Giving it all he's got. A little sideways coming on a 4. Berardi does. He knocks Thomas Wise down a spot with a 14.88, and Roberts just could not get it done. Up and out on track now is the number 14, Bobby Wise. Good to see Bobby back in a modified. It's been a race or two since we've seen him. He's got a bright black and yellow paint scheme on sale. Watch out, look at me. 15.21, so he's got a couple tenths to pick up to meet Thomas Wise's pace, and it looks like he's going into the pits with that qualifying attempt. Maybe not. He's going to be going to the end and putting in another lap. That's not going to do anything. We still have 5 drivers who have not qualified, and it looks like Brian Lowhead now getting out on track. And that number 24 machine, some of you know him as Lugnuts. But Brian Lowhead gonna see what kind of times he can pull out of his sleeve. Only 7 drivers on the grid so far in qualifying. So the worst he can start is 8th at the moment. Currently knocks Bobby Wise down for 7th. He's going to be at a 14.91. He only needs to pick up a little bit, and he doesn't do it. Launches it off. And that is going to be a rough ride, and frankly, the end of the qualifying effort for the number 24 machine. And that might just do it for qualifying. We might get another driver or two that comes out and qualifies before the end of the session. But it is that time, ladies and gentlemen. If you'd rise, remove your caps, and salute our national anthem. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Your qualifying order for tonight's 100 lapper here at Oxford Plains. Don Koneman and Tom Johnson there on row number 1. Chris Robert, Stephen Kiefer, row number 2. Johnny Berardi, Thomas Wise in row number 3. Brian Lowhead and Bobby Wise, row number 4. Billy Wise, Travis Zunema, row number 5. And Andrew Smith and Jacob DeGrand rounding out your field. 12 cars, 100 laps. Travis Zunema looks like he's starting from the pits. Not sure what's going on with Zunema, but Don Koneman going to lead him to the green one more time with that pole effort. And the pace car is going to dive on in at that white line. Green flag in the air. We are racing at Oxford Plains. Koneman gets a great start over top of Thomas. And Chris Robert's going to try to battle, but Tom Johnson on the outside of the racetrack. He's going for the lead on a turn number 4. What is going on here? Side by side battle. Johnson can't run that outside too long or he's going to run them tires out. But it seems like he's getting the run coming out of the corner on the outside. Can he do anything? Chris Robert's sitting right behind these two. Stephen Kiefer, Brian Lowhead, your top 5. It looks like Zunema is back out on the racetrack, so good to see him on track. Might have just missed that start button for a quick second and had to jump in, but he should be at the back of the field. So far, clean and green as your leaders come across to take number 4, Billy Wise up in the back. Currently running 7th right behind Thomas Wise, but these guys out front really battling hard for this race lead. They know that they need to get out front and get some air because lap traffic will be coming very, very shortly on this very, very short racetrack. And Koneman looks like he might have the advantage, but then Johnson pulls it right back coming out of the corner. I think Koneman might have him cleared here, and he does move Tom Johnson down into 2nd place. That battle is done and over with, and now he's got Chris Roberts right on his tail. And Roberts, we know he's fairly quick. Can he make a move here on Johnson? Oh, he gives him a little bump there in 1 and 2. Johnson does a good job, keeps it straight, but Robert's letting him know that he is definitely there. Almost 10 laps complete, starting to get cycled out just a little bit. Brian Lowhead in 5th. Up 2 spots so far. Billy Wise, Andrew Smith, and Jacob DeGran both up 2 spots. And this is the battle on track between Roberts, Johnson, and Koneman, who is now starting to pull away from the field just a little bit. See, Travis Zunema still not in the race, so I'm not sure what's going on with the Zood, but up front, Don Koneman leads. Tom Johnson trying to hold off a very hungry Chris Roberts. But these two not letting Koneman get away too much. Koneman might be trying to save some tires, and it looks like Andrew Smith making his way up past Billy Wise. Move him up into 7th position. His next target is going to be Thomas Wise in that number 3. Gotta watch them curbs that he just touched there. It'll really throw you off. If you're not careful, he tries to make a move down into 1 and 2. He's gonna get inside Thomas Wise. This is a battle for 6th position. Andrew Smith, known for starting at the back of the field and working his way towards the front. And without Travis Zunema in the race at the moment, he is the top contender that we would expect to see get the most positions gained. He's already up 4 positions up into 6th place. Can he get himself back up top? Tom Johnson and Chris Roberts were missing the battle. Roberts trying to take Johnson on the outside. Johnson holding very hard on the inside. This is a fantastic battle for 2nd place. Tom Johnson, a touch. Roberts brings him down a little too low. And Johnson looks like he's having some internet issues. Moves over to the side. It allows Roberts to go by. Not sure really what happened there, but now Stephen Kiefer is going to be all over Johnson's rear end. And then you got Brian Lowhead there in the 24, not letting this pack run away from him. Almost 20 laps complete. 1/5 of the way completed so far here at Oxford Plains. Don Koneman, Chris Roberts, Tom Johnson, Stephen Kiefer, and Brian Lowhead. Your top 5. Johnny Berardi, he was showing some good pace at the beginning. Not sure if he got a wrecked car or what happened. He was kind of high in the speed charts, but he's running back there in 9th place right now. Such a good looking car. I absolutely love the look of that 99 machine. We saw Don Koneman honor Johnny while he was laid up in the hospital, went out and won a race in it, and you can just hear the emotion in that race for both of them drivers, accomplishing something that was pretty cool and pretty special for a one-night thing. So Johnny Berardi still here, still racing with us in the 99 machine, currently 9th, but hey, we've still got 75 more laps to go, and I'm honestly surprised we haven't seen us a caution quite yet on such a short track. Stephen Kiefer losing a little bit of ground to Tom Johnson at the moment, and Tom Johnson has lost some ground to Roberts. Roberts now a second over top of Johnson, and Don Koneman starting to go through some lap traffic. He gets by Bobby Wise. He's got Jacob DeGrand in the 906 coming up next. That's going to be lapping the 10th place position. He's got almost 2 seconds, 1 3/4 of a second over top of Tom Johnson, and now that lap traffic is starting to become a factor, he could gain or lose some time depending on what kind of traffic he hits. Currently on track, the battle is with Stephen Kiefer. He's putting a lot of pressure on Tom Johnson at the moment. This is a battle for 3rd position. So that is podium and interviews at the end of the race. So we know Stephen Kiefer is very hungry looking at that 3rd place spot. When these laps are ticking down very fast, almost 30 laps complete now on lap number 30 of 100. And caution flag on the Speedway. It looks like Robert Wise, Bobby Wise, and it looks like Billy Wise might have been in the pits as well. Andrew Smith involved. Let's take a look at what happened there. He gets on that curb, and it looks like he's right in front of Roberts. Let's take a look at what happened. He's coming around. That's more the tail end of the field. Now the leaders are going to catch him. It looked like he was on the inside in front of Chris Roberts, and Roberts might have got into him. We might have went back just a little bit too far to catch that incident, but it looked like he got onto the curb and ended up having some serious issues. Don Koneman out front. Chris Roberts in the number 98 is in 2nd place. This is after 32, almost 33 laps. Stephen Kiefer in 3rd. Brian Lowhead and Billy Wise, he must just have been having a connection issue. He is currently now in 5th place, up 4 positions. So Andrew Smith, Bobby Wise, and Jacob DeGrand all had issues in that crash and are all in the pits. Take a look at what happened with Chris Roberts. It said he crashed. Looks like under caution. I'm not sure if that's just another hard braking point or what, but I do not see a problem with that. So Chris Roberts still in 2nd. Didn't crash. And I believe we're getting ready to go 1 to go racing very, very shortly. The lights are off on that pace car. So Don Koneman in the 97. Swagger in Mobile going to be bringing him into turn number 4. And green flag is in the air. We're racing one more time. 35 laps complete. 65 more laps to go. Don Koneman out front. Chris Roberts 2nd. Stephen Kiefer gets by 3rd. Tom Johnson all the way back to 7th. What happened to Tom on that restart? But wow, I'm not sure if he went in the pits or what happened, but he's all the way down. Up top, Brian Lowhead battling very hard. We're all single file. And Chris Robert's going to be trying to put some pressure on Koneman for that lead. Koneman now knowing that he is right behind, he's really going to have to watch what he does. He doesn't want to wear the tires too much, but he does not want that 98 to get to his bumper. And what do we talk about? Steven Kiefer doing a great job up into 3rd position. And he's actually pulling away from Lowhead and Billy Wise. Tom Johnson trying to make some moves on the racetrack, currently up to 7th place. He's going to look to the outside of Johnny Berardi going through turns 3 and 4, not going to be able to make it work. But Johnson desperately trying to get towards the front of the field before the leaders get around. He gives Berardi a little bit of a bump in 1 and 2. Berardi dives way down low and cuts Johnson off, and Johnson definitely having some connection issues there. Blinking in and out just a little bit. And after 42 laps complete, Johnson all the way down 7. Billy Wise gets onto the curb. That's going to slow everybody up. Johnson gets into the Berardi. Berardi gets into Wise. Berardi is off the track in turns 1 and 2. I don't know if that's going to bring out a caution. He gets spun out. And there go the leaders going by him. He's in the grass. I don't know if they'll call a caution for this. Unless he comes out on the track straight in front of people. Looks like he's going to get it back going, but there go the leaders there in front. He's going to really have to watch himself as he comes on the track, but everything looks clean and clear. Don Koneman out in front of Chris Roberts, and Tom Johnson trying to make a move inside Billy Wise. They get super close from touching. Wise is forced way to the outside of the track. Move up. Johnson up to 5th. He is a man on a mission, and now Andrew Smith going to be putting the pressure on Billy Wise. This is going to be a battle for 6th position, and he does a great job of getting underneath him through turns 1 and 2. And Wise is not going to put up a fight there. Almost halfway through the racetrack. Through the race today. And Don Koneman out front. Him and Roberts have gained a 1.5 seconds, almost 2 seconds over top of the field. Oh, and Jacob DeGrand very, very slow and high there on the outside. Definitely could catch some drivers off guard. Definitely needs to be careful with that. Andrew Smith making a move on Billy Wise. This is for 6th position, and now he's got lap traffic of Johnny Berardi, but Don Koneman getting the cross flags halfway through the race. Koneman up 7 tenths over top of Chris Roberts. And that is gaining quite a bit. Steven Kiefer has got Brian Lowhead all over his tail. Lowhead would definitely love to be up on the podium, and if he can gain another spot, he'll get the most positions gain point at the moment. Andrew Smith currently back in 6th place there behind Tom Johnson. He's currently got 4 spots gained, but if Lowhead can get 1 more spot, he can take that point clean away from him. But Steven Kiefer just needs to keep his eye on the road. There's a lot of time left. And if he can hold on here with Brian Lowhead putting the pressure on from behind, he can come with a great finish, get some good points, and possibly move his way up the standings. We know Brian Lowhead definitely wants to get himself a good finish today as well, and 4th place is pretty respectable considering where he's at in the points championship. but he's staying just about a half a second back from there. And now Andrew Smith looking to make moves on Tom Johnson, getting super close, almost gives him the bumper. This is a battle for 5th position. Tom Johnson trying to catch Brian Lowhead, still almost 2 seconds back. More like 1 3/4 of a second back from Brian Lowhead there in 4th. So he is more watching the mirror and watching Andrew Smith get on his tail and watching out for these lap cars. Smith gets really loose coming out of 4th, and he has to save it. That's going to be all she wrote for that battle right there, as he falls almost a second behind Johnson. And Chris Robert's not letting Koneman get away at all, keeping it within a half a second most of this time. 40 more laps to go, and only 1 caution here at Oxford Plains. That is absolutely remarkable. Tough break for Johnny Berardi. He fell back after that spin off of the track in turn 1 and 2 there, but he got it back going. We stayed green flag, and he's still out in front of Bobby Wise, Jacob DeGrand, and Travis Zunema. So he is going to get a few points. If we get another caution, he will be our lucky dog. He will be able to get another lap back. He's still only 2 laps down there for Berardi. And it looks like Thomas Wise is about to go a lap down from Don Koneman. See, look at the top. The tie-dye number 3 machine, Don Koneman, almost in frame. And there he is right there with Chris Roberts right behind. Look how fast Koneman catches that number 3 in the corner. Totally different lines through the racetrack here. And Koneman's going to get him here, probably coming down into turn number 1 next time, if not down the straightaway. Oh, and Thomas Wise gets it in the wall, and he goes off into turn number 1, hits the wall. He's backwards. Not sure if that's going to cause a caution either, because he's off track. Both cars going off track. We have caught here on the camera. Now Berardi might get another point there with Thomas Wise being stuck off track. There go the leaders one more time, and he's going on the track backwards. That might be a problem. He's going to get it going forward. There goes Kiefer, Lowhead, Johnson, and yeah, there he goes back on the track. Hopefully out of everybody's way. Yes. And that's going to move Johnny Berardi up to 8th. Koneman now starting to pull a little bit of a gap over top of Chris Roberts there in 2nd place. Just over 0.8 of a second, but 7.5 seconds back to Stephen Kiefer there in 3rd. Koneman taking a nice inside move below Jacob DeGrand, and now Chris Roberts needs to deal with it as DeGrand lets him by pretty quick. In the back, Stephen Kiefer is currently running 3rd place. Brian Lowhead 4th. And he's got to worry about Tom Johnson and Andrew Smith coming up behind him. He was trying to put the pressure on Kiefer, but now he has to worry about Tom Johnson coming up from behind him. He's really got to watch himself, because Tom Johnson is catching him really quick, and I know he does not want to let that place go, because Andrew Smith is right there behind Johnson. Take a look at Johnson. Andrew Smith not letting him go either. So Johnson is on the move. He does not want to get held up by Brian Lowhead, because if he gets held up by Lowhead there in front of him, Smith is just going to be able to drive right around him on the next lane wherever he's at. So very, very crucial battle going on here. Johnson starting to drive defensive, but needing to drive a little more aggressive, as he's currently in 5th, and that is going to lose him some points to Don Koneman in this championship. Still 8 more races left to go after this. We have got Richmond up next week. Then we go to Phoenix on April 12th. That is going to be a fantastic race. 2 somewhat longer racetracks in a row. And then on the 19th, we go to South Boston, my most favorite track in iRacing. And it is going to be one awesome show for all 3 of those tracks. All-Star Challenge race coming up next week. Harrison Chandler not in here, but he won the first race. Koneman wins the second race. And the 3rd race is up for grabs next week. Andrew Smith doing everything he can, trying to put that pressure on Tom Johnson. Just cannot get by that number 23 machine. Out front, Don Koneman. He crosses that stripe now once again. We're down to 18 laps to go. He's got himself a 1 1/4 second gap over top of Chris Roberge. Roberge gaining ever so slightly, but not able to do very much. Smith all over Johnson's tail. I thought we were going to see an exchange there. Stephen Kiefer still half a second ahead of Brian Lowhead. Lowhead 3/4 of a second in front of these 2 drivers right here, battling out so hard. A handful of laps to go, and I gotta commend these drivers on this race tonight. 1 caution in 90 laps so far. What a fantastic race for these drivers. They're really giving it their all at a very difficult racetrack. But now Tom Johnson has caught Brian Lowhead, who has almost caught Stephen Kiefer. What is going to happen in the last 14 laps of this race? Keep it right here on JP Broadcasting for all the action of the Simability Racing League and the SK Super Series. Kiefer doing everything he can to hold on to that 3rd position. We haven't had an interview with Kiefer yet this summer or this season. So 12 races, and I'm sure he's going to be looking forward to being up in the booth. But Brian Lowhead there right behind, doing everything he can to hold off the 23. But Tom, Mr. Consistency Johnson right there. He's still in the top 5, which he can consider that he's finished in the top 5 every single race this season. So he can still say he's got that if he finishes where he's at, but he wants that top 3 one more time. And he gets almost into the wall there on the straightaway. 10 laps to go for your leader, Don Koneman. He's got a 1.5 seconds now over Chris Roberge. Roberge has 9 seconds over top of Kiefer, and Kiefer now a comfortable 1 full second over top of Brian Lowhead. Andrew Smith still trying to make his move up. He's got 4 positions gained on the day, so he is going to get that point for most positions gained. But Brian Lowhead just has to get by Kiefer. And if he makes a mistake, it looks like Lowhead might actually fall to the clutches of Tom and Johnson here. As we are in the single-digit laps to go, the battle is for 5th between Andrew Smith and Tom Johnson. Koneman steadily pulling out a lead, and there goes Smith, washing up just a little bit. Koneman with a fantastic run in that swagger in number 97. 6 more laps to go. A couple more miles for these drivers. They're putting in 14-second laps. And he's held up behind Jacob DeGrand. That's going to give Roberge 0.4 of a second gained on Koneman there, just for Koneman being safe. But with 5 laps to go, I know these guys haven't used up their tires, so Koneman's got a lot in the reserve tank. Tom Johnson's still holding Andrew Smith off by 0.5 seconds. And the track looks fairly clear ahead of Koneman at the moment. 3 more laps to go here in round number 12. Chris Robert's second, Kiefer in third, Lowhead fourth, Johnson fifth, and Andrew Smith doing everything he can to knock Tom Johnson out of the top 5. Give him his first race below the top 5 this season. Can he get below to the inside? No, 2 more laps to go. And Don Common coming out turn number 4, white flag in the air. 1 more lap to go. The battle's still for 5th position. Smith gets down to the inside. They go through 2 and 3 and 4. Smith gets by Johnson. Coming out of turn number 4 now. Don Koneman takes the checkered flag. Chris Roberts comes home second. Stephen Kiefer in the number 22 machine comes out of turn number 4. He's going to take his first podium of the season in 3rd place. Brian Lowhead in that 24 holds off Andrew Smith and Tom Johnson for 4th place. And Andrew Smith knocks Tom Johnson down for the first time this season and takes that 5th place position. Tom Johnson comes home 6th, and he's got to be upset with that. Billy Wise 7th, Johnny Berardi 8th, Bobby Wise 9th, and Thomas Wise come home in 10th. What a drive by that number 97 of Don Koneman, and what a drive by that number 22 of Stephen Kiefer to get it done on the last lap over top of Tom Johnson. Wow, what a race. If you guys love that ending of the race, make sure you hit that like button and comment on this video. It has been an awesome race for these drivers. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you do not miss the action. And if you don't hit that notification bell, you'd be a lot cooler if you did. Because I tell you what, when them notifications pop up and you click on that link, you are going to see some class act racing. And we just saw it here in the Simability SK Super Series. Round number 12 in the books. Don Koneman is going to take the victory. And what a victory it was. Let's see if we can't get a couple of our drivers up in the broadcast booth and ready to go, because wow, what a drive that was. And we are going to get our drivers in here in just a moment. And I believe Stephen Kiefer is going to be the first driver on our list. Stephen, what a drive you had this evening. Tell us, what was it like being in that car and taking down that 3rd place position? We know that you haven't had one all season. What was it like for you there? You definitely had some very fast drivers there behind you. What did it take? A lot of patience in the race today? Honestly, I was very surprised. Only 1 caution the whole race. We did have a couple cars spin off the track, but it didn't cause an actual caution. So what kind of level of attrition did you have? You had some fairly fast drivers behind you. You had Lowhead, Smith, Johnson, Billy Wise. I mean, these guys were all behind you. What did it take to get up there and maintain that 3rd place position?
I don't know, man. I wanted to stick with the leaders, and I'm hoping we can get away from the rest of the pack. But like I said, those guys, those 1st and 2nd place, Don and Chris, they were just too fast for me. But if it wasn't for Brian pushing behind me, I don't think I would have stayed where I was, because he'd catch up and then I'd push ahead. And
yeah, it was definitely fun to watch. It was, we seen him catching up, and we're like, is he going to be able to make a move here? And then yeah, you'd pull away. So a fantastic finish third place. Great points effort. I'm sure this is going to do wonders for you in the points championship with 8 rounds left to go. Who do you got to thank for this amazing finish here tonight?
I like to thank Simability of the league and you guys, broadcasting this, you, Rob. So thanks to everyone around that helps put this thing together.
So how are you feeling for next week going into Richmond? It is the All-Star Challenge race. It's probably going to be a little bit longer. Pit stops may come into effect. How are you feeling for Richmond?
I like it. It's like a bigger track for these cars. So it should be cool. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, quite a few All-Star Challenge points left on the board, and it is a regular points race, which I'm sure you're going to be moving up a little bit in that point standings after tonight. Great run, Steven, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Congratulations to Chris Roberge for taking home the second place spot. He's not up for an interview at the moment, but we have got the man of the hour, Don Koneman. He drove that number 97 like a rocket tonight. What was crucial for your win here tonight at Oxford Plains?
Well, first of all, Chris is having mic problems. He's back in trying to get it going. I don't know if you'll get him in here or not. But on that, it was a heck of a run, honestly. I loved it. Car was set up great, handled perfect. The only thing that scared me was cold tires. The beginning of that start, when Tom was hanging on the outside, I was thinking, oh, what's going to happen here? Because I needed the outside to stop it from getting loose, but it worked out. Well, I'd say not getting greedy and just understanding that you don't need to win, because sometimes when you're greedy and making those moves to win, it bites you in the butt. Kind of like, well, actually, I got the whole league to thank tonight because we started practices early. We ran 4 practices this week. Billy did an early practice, and we got the setup down and lined up that everybody liked, and it made for a bunch of good practice and everybody learned their car, and that's what I'm going to contribute to the green flag runs here tonight. So definitely thanks to everybody for showing up and working their tails off and listening to me on what you need to do to the car to control it. And yeah, other than that, I've got to thank Swagger In and everybody watching this tonight. Thank you to the fans. Thank you to you, Rob, for broadcasting this, and Billy for putting a hell of a league together.
One awesome league, Simability Racing League, is now next week we go to Richmond International Speedway, All-Star Challenge race number 2. You took the win at the last race. What do you need to do to ensure that you go away leading the points? At the moment, Travis Zudema is out on top, and you're a few points down in that one as you finish last in the race at Five Flags in the first one. So what do you have to do to climb that point standings with only 2 races left to go in that series, being mid-pack?
To be honest with you, I'm a short track guy, and Richmond might be a short track per se for NASCAR guys, but it's not one of my favorites, and I'm not really good there, so I can't tell you what I need to do to win there because I don't know. So it's going to be an interesting race next week.
Well, the last track for the All-Star Challenge race is the Bull Ring, so you will excel at that track. So I guess a consistent finish at Richmond will ensure you to have a good fighting chance at the bull ring at the end of the season. But today, you came out on top. Chris Roberge had absolutely nothing for you. The field had absolutely nothing for you. Congratulations on your victory this evening, Don, and enjoy it, because that was one fabulous race by you and by everybody. I was honestly surprised to see one caution in 100 laps here at Oxford Plains.
It was all really good, tight, clean racing. It was a lot of fun.
All right, well, you take care. We'll see you next week when it comes to Richmond. And that is your first place finisher, Don Koneman, taking home the victory here at Oxford Plains. And what a drive it was. Oh, and it looks like we might have our second place finisher, Chris Roberge. You got us up here in the booth?
Yes, I do. Can you hear me?
It looks like we do got you. Chris Roberge, he came in second place here tonight. A very tough drive. You kept it really close to Koneman most of the race, but you just didn't have the pace to really keep up with him when it counted. And it looked like when he kind of got with some lap traffic, he just kind of pulled away.
Yeah, I had to try to fight the traffic after you went past, so it's kind of a little, it's just a little hard. I had to have paces. I don't want to wreck anybody or anything like that. So the second place is still good for me still.
So what goes through a driver's mind knowing that you've got someone like Koneman who has great pace in front of you? What do you have to do to not let that get you down? Not let that, make it to where you give up? When you just know that that guy's fast, you're almost positive you can't catch him. How do you keep yourself positive and moving forward to take advantage of any mistake?
I'm an easy guy, so if he's up ahead of me, I don't take offense or anything like that. I'm pretty much, when I run, I do what I can do my best. And if I pass him, that'd be great. If I don't, I'd still be great anyways, no matter what way I'm at.
Well, you put in a very impressive drive tonight. You didn't let Koneman get away for too long. It seemed like towards the end of the race there, you just kind of lost your grip or lost your balance, and you just kind of slipped through your fingertips. But a fantastic second place finish for you once here again tonight, and that is definitely going to help you in the standings. You're only about 20 points behind Tom Johnson, and you do that for a few races, finish a couple places ahead of him, all of a sudden you're in a battle for that second place. Who do you got to thank for this awesome finish tonight?
Well, thanks for Simability Racing League here, getting everybody all together here with people with disability things. Yes, I do have a disability. I have a learning disability. I've been with them for since day one, like 2017. I started with Billy Wise and Brian Lowhead, and then we just start working together. And I've been with them for a long, long time. So I know everybody here. Thanks for that. Thanks for broadcasting there, Rob. And thanks for my teammate for his congrats on his wins. And good for a teammate. And thanks for my wife for supporting me.
Well, thank you very much. Congratulations on an awesome finish tonight. And we look forward to seeing you next week at Richmond.
Yes.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Round number 12 of the Simability SK Super Series in the books. What do you say we take a look at the final laps of this race? Don Koneman takes it out and puts it down. Another win for Koneman. That's going to put him at least 11 points over top of Tom Johnson for the championship. 8 more races left to go. Next week, we head to Richmond. So make sure you come check us out. Here is the calendar of our dates left to come. Richmond Motor Speedway, Phoenix, South Boston. Then we go to Southern National, Stafford. Then the final All-Star Challenge race at the Bull Ring, Thompson. And we end it at Lakeland, USA in beautiful sunny Florida. We cannot wait to share it all with you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so that way you can catch absolutely all of the action. And until next week, y'all have a great night.